On the day of my mother's funeral, I waited and waited, but my fiancé, Ethan, never showed up. I called him 10 times, but he didn't answer a single call. After my mother was laid to rest, I saw a social media post from the intern he was supervising. In the photo, Ethan had his arm around Chloe, affectionately presenting Brenda with a formal blessing. And the scarf my mother had personally knitted for him on her sickbed was now wrapped around Chloe's neck. Furious, I sent him countless voice messages, demanding he return the scarf my mother had knitted for me, but they all vanished into thin air, with no response. When I got home, Chloe's social media post was updated again. The video showed Ethan and Chloe, wearing wedding boutonnieres and corsages, replacing the white chrysanthemums at my mother's grave with red roses. And that scarf was cut into pieces, scattered carelessly on the ground. The caption read, "My boyfriend said, let that dead old hag feel our passionate love too." Looking at that social media post, I couldn't stop trembling. I called Ethan again, and this time, he answered in just 1 second. "Grace, it's just an old scarf, are you done or not? It's Chloe's mom's birthday today. I was just going along with it to make the old lady happy. Besides, your mom's funeral isn't a big deal. There's still her Memorial Day every year, so why are you so nitpicky?" It turned out he knew everything, yet he was here, accusing me of overreacting. All my anger instantly erupted. "Ethan, my mom was just buried today. Why would you bring irrelevant people to disturb her? You clearly knew." The words caught in my throat, choked by emotion. He clearly knew how much my mom wished to see us get married. Even suffering from the torment of cancer day after day, she gritted her teeth and held on. But after waiting and waiting, I didn't just miss out on the wedding, Ethan didn't even bother to attend her funeral. My poor mom, until her dying breath, truly believed Ethan was busy with work and kept telling me to be more understanding of him. She even pushed herself to stay up several nights, knitting a scarf for him. Little gets cold easily, it'll be perfect for him when he works late. It turned out he was just using work as an excuse to mess around with other women. My mom and I were always disposable to him. At that moment, I was truly exhausted. "Ethan, let's break up." As soon as I finished speaking, Ethan's sneering laugh echoed. "All right, don't be so childish. Chloe is young and playful. I'll go and restore your mother's grave." Before he could finish, I cut him off loudly. "No need. Take your people and leave, now." My sudden increase in volume instantly made him lose his temper. "Grace, what are you yelling about? I just said I'd restore it immediately. What's with all this fuss? Your mom's dead. What would a dead person know? Are you serious?" Just then, Chloe's slightly apologetic voice chimed in. "Grace, I'm so sorry. We young people like to mess around. I didn't realize you couldn't take a joke. I'll go clean up your aunt's grave right away, and I'll delete the social media post too." "Ethan, it's all my fault. I shouldn't have asked for your help. I made Grace angry. I'll explain everything to my mom. The worst that can happen is she'll yell at me." "Chloe, don't tell your mom. Some people just like to make a scene for no reason, just ignore her." After comforting Chloe, Ethan didn't forget to sternly warn me, "Grace, we're not married yet. If you're going to be so controlling already, then we don't need to get married at all." This was his usual tactic. He knew exactly how to manipulate me. After 10 years of dating, marrying him felt like an obsession for me. So, usually, whenever he said something like that, I would immediately reflect and apologize. But this time, hearing him say it again, I felt a sense of relief. Fine. If we don't get married, we don't get married. After all, we'd been engaged for over a year. If we were going to get married, we would have already. Ethan didn't take me seriously at all, he just laughed even harder. "What? Changing tactics now? What's the point of being stubborn? You'll just come crying to me later anyway. Go reflect on yourself. You're not a kid anymore. Stop being so jealous all the time, or I'll really have to reconsider our relationship." With that, he didn't give me a chance to reply and hung up the phone. Listening to the dial tone on the phone receiver, I sobered up completely and called Mike. "That aid mission in Africa you mentioned last time, I want to join it." He was stunned for 2 seconds, a bit puzzled. "Didn't you say you were getting married soon? You know, you might not come back for 5 or 6 years, and as I told you, the conditions are really tough. Aren't you worried about your family?" I gave a bitter smile. "Family? After my mother passed, I thought Ethan would be my home. Now it seems I'm the only one clinging to this relationship that has long since soured." "Yes, I know. He heard the bitterness in my voice and didn't press further. All right, if you've made up your mind, I'll submit your application. Get ready, you'll likely leave in a week. Okay. Just as I hung up the phone, Ethan pushed open the door, reeking of alcohol. Normally, I would have already gotten up to greet him and quickly prepared hangover soup. But at that moment, I didn't want to accommodate him in the slightest. He stood in the entryway, and seeing no movement from me, he changed his shoes with a hint of displeasure. I've explained everything there is to explain. You're not still mad, are you? I just felt exhausted and didn't want to get further entangled with him, so I turned and went into the guest room. No sooner had I lain down than Ethan kicked the door open with a thud. Grace, what exactly do you mean by this? Do I have to do everything your way for you to be happy? So what if I didn't go to your aunt's funeral? We can just go again tomorrow, can't we? The living room lights shone on my closed eyelids, but I couldn't be bothered to lift them. My voice, when I spoke, was utterly cold. No need. I hadn't been oblivious to his changes over the past year. I once thought he, like me, found it hard to accept the reality of my mother's cancer, fearing to see her in pain, which was why he repeatedly chose to avoid her. Only now did I realize that he had long displayed his disdain perfectly. I had simply been deceiving myself. Well, it's fine. From now on, I wouldn't harbor any more hopes for him. Seeing no further movement from me, Ethan slammed the bedroom door shut with a bang. I knew this was his signal to start giving me the silent treatment. But I was unmoved and slept soundly. The next morning, I didn't make breakfast or wake Ethan up as usual. After quickly tidying up, I went to the office and submitted my resignation. Since I was on bereavement leave, my boss didn't make things difficult for me and processed my resignation through a special expedited procedure. As I left the office, I ran straight into Ethan, who had just arrived. Because I hadn't woken him, he was an hour late, and his face was extremely grim. He glanced at me condescendingly, then coldly pulled Chloe past me. Chloe gave me a triumphant smile, tightening her grip on Ethan's hand. Watching their intimacy, I didn't feel the usual panic and unease. I just found it utterly ridiculous. I remembered when Chloe was first assigned to Ethan's team, he was utterly unwilling, constantly complaining to me. What does a fresh graduate know? I don't know what the office was thinking, assigning a flower vase to me. 6 months later, his opinion of Chloe noticeably changed. You know what? Chloe actually has a lot of ideas. She's interesting. After that, he and Chloe became inseparable. He even naturally invited Chloe to our anniversary. His way of addressing her also changed from Chloe to the affectionate little I was. And without questions about his change in attitude, but as soon as I opened my mouth, he would frown in displeasure and scoff at me. You're always overthinking things. Can't you be more positive and upbeat like little? I originally thought I was overthinking it. After all, a 10-year relationship wasn't so easily shaken. I kept comforting myself that things would be better after we got married. Now, looking back, everything had been foreshadowed. Without a moment's hesitation, I chuckled coldly and turned to leave. But just as I reached downstairs, my phone started buzzing continuously with text messages. Grace, what do you mean by this? Why did you resign? Can you stop being so malicious? How dare you use your resignation to spread rumors about Little? Don't you know everyone is talking about her, saying she interfered in our relationship and forced you to resign? Get back here and explain yourself to everyone, or don't expect me to forgive you. Before I could read them all, his phone call came through again. Grace, why didn't I realize you were such a jealous woman before? You won't even let go of Little, a fresh graduate. She's been crying because of you, do you know that? Get back here and apologize to her. Every sentence revolved around Chloe. His feelings, or lack thereof, were so obvious. No wonder everyone was gossiping behind their backs. After all, Ethan and I were both mid to senior level employees at the office, and everyone was well aware of our relationship. Weren't Chloe's misleading social media posts bound to cause controversy? Ethan, you're truly ridiculous. With that, I didn't give him a chance to reply and hung up the phone. Next, I went directly to my mother's grave and quietly cleaned up the mess. After talking with her for a while, I went out for dinner with my best friend, sang, and had a blast. I got home after midnight. I turned on the lights and saw Ethan sitting in the living room, his face grim. Grace, what exactly are you making a fuss about now? Can you be more sensible? I'm really tired. Seeing that I didn't respond, he sighed helplessly and continued, forget it. Luckily, Little is generous and isn't mad at you. Since you've resigned, just be a good housewife at home. Tomorrow, make some pastries for Little. Consider it your apology to her. Hearing his words, I couldn't help but burst out laughing. Do you want me to kneel and kowtow to her? No, you don't need to, just, watching his serious expression, I stopped smiling and coldly cut him off. Ethan, if I'm not mistaken, we've already broken up. You have no right to demand anything from me anymore. At that moment, I was incredibly grateful that I had insisted on contributing half the funds to buy this house. Ethan and I both came from ordinary families. From our student days to making our way in society, we relied on ourselves for every penny. I had originally thought we would be each other's support, so after we decided to get married, we bought this house. But I had forgotten that things are unpredictable, and hearts can change easily. After hearing my words, Ethan scrutinized me for a long time, finally letting out a cold snort. Grace, playing hard to get doesn't suit you. Selling the house? Where would you go if you sold the house, with no family to rely on? Stop being so childishly jealous. Little is innocent, she's not as complicated as you think. I promise you, once this period is over, I'll finalize our wedding plans. As he spoke, he reached out to hug me, but the next second, his phone buzzed with a text message. Ethan, my water pipe burst, and I'm all wet. Can you come take a look? The accompanying photo showed Chloe wearing a sexy lace nightgown, wet in intimate areas. Seeing the message reflected in the window, and then Ethan's uncontrollable gulp, I felt sick to my stomach. Ethan, unaware of my discomfort, averted his gaze and turned off his phone. Something came up at the office, I'll go CK it out. With that, he rushed out the door without even waiting for my reply. Watching him leave, my heart turned utterly cold. Ethan was blessed with good looks, and over the years, there had been no shortage of women throwing themselves at him. But in the past, he would always proudly talk about me, and he'd show me messages women sent him without reservation, even asking me to handle them. But now, he couldn't even tell me the truth. When I received the photos from Chloe, I was just cutting up the last shared picture of Ethan and me, tossing it into the trash. In the photo, a sleeping Ethan lay shirtless beside Chloe, with a red mark of passion on his Adam's apple. From the clothes scattered across the floor, it wasn't hard to tell how intense things had been. Grace, you old hag, Ethan has been tired of you for a long time. If you know what's good for you, get lost. Faced with the taunting words, I felt no ripple of emotion and simply blocked her. I tidied up until past midnight before finally falling into a deep sleep. The next morning, I woke up, and it was almost noon. When I got up, I saw that Ethan had actually prepared a huge spread of dishes. Duo, you're up. Come wash your hands and eat. It's all your favorites. I knew exactly why he was being so attentive, but I couldn't be bothered to call him out. Seeing me sit down, he quickly picked up a spare rib for me. Try it. I stewed it for 2 hours. I let out a cold laugh, subtly pushed the spare rib aside, and started eating the vegetables. He didn't get angry and continued, Duo, I've had someone consult for us, and this weekend is a good day. How about we set our wedding for then? Though it's short notice, don't worry, I'll take care of everything. You just need to show up on time. His words stunned me, and I suddenly looked up at him. What was this? Using me as a shield after his affair? Or a compensatory act born of self-reproach? My appetite vanished instantly, and I quietly put down my dishes and cutlery. No need. But as if he hadn't heard me, he began making plans, his eyes full of anticipation. Duo, don't you like white roses? I'll contact the wedding planner right away to prepare, and there are only 5 days left. I need to contact the hotel immediately. Watching the man's self-satisfied expression, I found it amusing. In that case, I'd give him a big gift. After all, by then, I should have already left. Over the next few days, Ethan started making preparations for the wedding. I, however, felt a sense of freedom, and while he was away, I arranged for waves of people to view the house. On the eve of my departure, I sold my engagement ring. As soon as I got home, I heard Chloe's plaintive voice. Ethan, I miss you so much. You're getting married tomorrow, can I have you just one more time? It's my safe period recently, so we can be intimate. As she spoke, she drew circles on Ethan's chest with her hand. Ethan's breathing became ragged, and he grabbed Chloe's hand. All right, Little, stop messing around. Duo will be back soon. I'm getting married, and our relationship should. Before he could finish, Chloe kissed him. Ethan ultimately didn't push her away. In an instant, the scene turned intimate, and a moment later, they stood up, satisfied. Ethan, don't worry. Little doesn't seek a title. As long as I have a place in your heart, that's enough. Little, it's good that you understand. Duo has been with me for 10 years. I have to give her a wedding. After seeing their intimate display, I was utterly disgusted. Hearing their sickening words, I finally couldn't hold back and pushed the door open. Ignoring the panic in Ethan's eyes, I chuckled coldly and looked at them both. Please, continue. With that, I walked into the guest room. To my surprise, Chloe followed me in and hugged me tightly. Grace, I sincerely wish you and Ethan a happy marriage. Then, in a voice only I could hear, she taunted, so? Did you enjoy the show? Can an old hag IQ satisfy Ethan? You pathetic bitch, why don't you just die like your cancer-ridden mother? A sudden surge of uncontrollable rage flared within me, and I pushed her away with all my might. You don't deserve to mention my mother. She stumbled and fell to the ground, just as Ethan rushed in and saw it. Grace, what are you doing? I've already agreed to marry you, why can't you leave Little alone? Chloe leaned into Ethan's embrace, looking utterly wronged. Ethan, it's okay. Grace doesn't like me, I don't blame her. As long as you two are happy, that's all that matters. With that, she wiped away some tears and stood up. I wish you both a happy marriage. Then, without looking back, she ran out the door. Look what you've done. You better reflect on yourself tonight. Otherwise, don't bother showing up at the wedding tomorrow. Ethan, fuming, threw that out and quickly chased after her. Watching their retreating figures disappear, I pulled out my simply packed suitcase and headed for the airport without looking back. The next day, Ethan went directly from Chloe's house to the wedding venue. Chloe, meanwhile, followed him, a triumphant look on her face, wearing a pure white dress. Some guests who didn't know me even thought Chloe was the bride. All morning, Ethan felt an indescribable panic. Upon arriving at the banquet hall, he searched everywhere for me. As the ceremony was about to begin, he repeatedly called me, but no one answered. He also started to get annoyed by Chloe's behavior, which was clearly stealing the show. Just then, our shared boss walked up to him. Ethan, what exactly is going on between you and Grace? She clearly said she broke up with you when she resigned, didn't she? And she flew overseas last night for an aid mission in Africa. She might not be back for several years. So, who are you actually marrying? No way, Duo wouldn't leave me. Ethan, remembering my recent attitude towards him, began to panic intensely. At that moment, the large screen lit up, displaying pixelated images of his intimate encounter with Chloe, along with the provocative photos and messages Chloe had sent me. Seeing this, Chloe screamed for someone to turn it off. But the scene that just played out still made the whole story clear. I told you Grace and Ethan broke up a long time ago, but you didn't believe me. Just look at Chloe, with her manipulative demeanor, she's mistress material. How dare she provoke the original partner? She's shameless. Who knew Ethan, who seemed so honest, was such a player in private? He was still messing around with Chloe the night before his wedding, and in their own house too. That scumbag and manipulative woman deserve each other. He didn't cherish a beauty like Grace and ended up with a seductive tramp like her. Ethan must be blind. The chatter of the crowd was incessant. Chloe stomped her foot in anger and immediately stepped forward to grab Ethan. Ethan, quickly, tell them to stop. If they keep talking, I won't be able to show my face in public. Contrary to the protection she expected, Ethan shoved her away. Are they wrong? If you hadn't sent those messages to Duo, would she have left? If it weren't for your interference, would Duo and I have broken up? What else are you if not a mistress? You didn't actually think I'd be with you, did you? I was just messing around. Don't ever appear before me again from now on. Chloe, still unwilling to give up, tried to grab Ethan again, but he pushed her to the ground. Get lost. With that, he disregarded everything else and rushed home. As soon as he reached his doorstep, he was stopped by a real estate agent. Are you Mr. Ethan? Ms. Grace has found a suitable buyer for this house. We just need your signature. Even looking at my signature, Ethan still refused to believe it. Bullshit. This is Duo's and my house. She wouldn't sell it. With that, he tore the sales contract to shreds. After entering the house, he unwillingly searched every room. Seeing no trace of me, he then rushed to the airport. However, due to airport privacy policies, he found nothing. Meanwhile, on my end, after arriving at my destination, I quickly met up with Mike. Only upon arrival did I discover that Lucas, my former senior, was also there. Our eyes met, and my face instantly flushed. After all, he was the only person who had ever written me hundreds of love letters. Compared to my awkwardness, he was much more at ease. Grace, long time no see. Lucas, long time no see. Later, chatting with my classmates, I learned that they had invited Lucas many times, but he had always refused. This time, as soon as he heard I was coming, he quickly dropped his family business and rushed here. After hearing this, I felt even more awkward every time I saw Lucas. Apart from necessary work, I tried every possible way to avoid him. A week later, Lucas directly stopped me at the sink. Grace, how long are you going to keep hiding? I just like you, I'm not going to hurt you. He shouted his confession without any pretense, startling me into quickly covering his mouth. As our eyes met, my heart seemed to skip a beat. He truly hadn't changed at all. His way of expressing love was as passionate and unrestrained as ever. Back then, I was put off by his overt approach, choosing instead to let things naturally unfold with Ethan. And the result was, perhaps my eyes darkened, but Lucas took my hand and removed it from his mouth. My liking you has always been my own business, you don't have to feel burdened. I won't force you, just don't run away. If possible, please give me a chance, okay? Looking at his hopeful eyes, I paused for a long time, then, as if by some impulse, I nodded. After clearing the air, Lucas and I grew much closer. I learned a lot from him, becoming more direct in dealing with both situations and people. The project was tedious. It was either visiting indigenous residents to gather information or setting up electricity and bringing in water. Just like that, 2 years passed. During that time, Eleanor, Lucas's mother, worried and came to visit him once. Seeing the harsh conditions, she burst into tears. You little brat, you could be living the life of a rich young master, so what are you doing in this backwater? But her eyes widened the moment she saw me. Lucas looked at his mother's surprised expression and nodded with a smile. Later, Eleanor showed me photos of over 1,000 portraits of me in Lucas's art studio, each one drawn by Lucas himself. As she spoke, she unbuttoned Lucas's shirt. Right near his heart, there was actually a tattoo of my portrait. In an instant, my eyes welled up. Perhaps what my mother had hoped to see was someone loving me so unreservedly. With help, Lucas and I successfully established our relationship. Eleanor immediately gave me the family heirloom bracelet and even arranged a video call for me to meet the rest of the Lucas family. Finally, everyone reached a consensus. From now on, Lucas can be disposable, but Grace must be protected. I was amused by the harmonious atmosphere of Lucas's family, grateful for my new beginning. On our 1-year anniversary, Lucas took me to the city to celebrate. As soon as we got out of the car, a familiar voice called out to me. Duo, I finally found you. Ethan? What are you doing here? Looking at the gaunt man before me, it was hard to connect him with the spirited person he was 3 years ago. Duo, I came looking for you. It's been 3 years. Do you know how hard I've been looking for you? As he spoke, his gaze fell on Lucas's hand intertwined with mine, and his eyes instantly reddened. Duo, you too. He reached out and grabbed me, unconsciously squeezing my hand so hard it hurt. Seeing this, Lucas swatted his hand away. Get lost. Don't touch my girlfriend. What do you mean your girlfriend? She's my fiancée, he said, looking at me with hopeful eyes, but I tightened my grip on Lucas's hand even more. Ethan, you and I broke up a long time ago. You know exactly what happened between us. Don't you think it's ridiculous to still call me your fiancée now? That's not true, Duo. There was nothing serious between Chloe and me. It only happened twice, and she was the one who seduced me. Before he could finish, Lucas burst out laughing. Pfft. Typical scumbag talk. Can't control your urges, and you still have so much to say. What business is it of yours? Shut up. Ethan's eyes were bloodshot. He raised his hand to strike Lucas, but without thinking, I stepped in front of him. Ethan, it's impossible for us. Just leave. His hand froze in midair, then weakly dropped, his eyes filled with hurt. Duo, how can we just throw away 10 years of our relationship? Please give me another chance, okay? I genuinely promised to live a good life with you. After you left, I was always looking for you. I admit I had a momentary novelty with Chloe, but I never truly intended to be with her. I couldn't bear to listen anymore and cut him off. Ethan, you were the one who gave up on our 10-year relationship first, weren't you? Love isn't just about feeling a spark, it's also about responsibility. Cheating is cheating, so stop making excuses. I've found my own happiness. Please don't bother me anymore. With that, I pulled Lucas to leave, but Ethan grabbed me. No, you can't go. Duo, come back with me. I'm begging you. Chloe and I really have no contact anymore, and no one will disturb us again in the future. As he spoke, he gave Lucas an extremely wounded look, then turned to meet my gaze seriously. I admit it was wrong of me to give in to temptation, but you also found this toy boy. Can we just call it even? From now on, we won't bring these things up again, and we'll be together properly. The words had barely left his mouth when Lucas punched Ethan in the face. I can't stand it anymore. What kind of trash are you comparing me to? Oh, do you think everyone treats relationships as a game, like you do? Blood immediately streamed from Ethan's mouth. He didn't wipe it, just quietly watched me. In the past, even if he pricked himself with a needle, my heart would ache for him. But now, my first reaction was to pick up Lucas's hand and check it repeatedly. Why did you hit him? Does it hurt? Lucas smiled triumphantly. I'm fine, hee hee. This scene instantly drove Ethan mad. Grace, you can't like anyone else. I forbid it, I forbid it. With that, he opened a video on his phone and showed it to me. Duo, no one but you can have my child. Look, for you, I personally killed my own child. The phone video showed a crude room filled with medical equipment. Chloe was pinned to the bed, pleading non-stop. Ethan, this is your baby. It's 8 months old. How can you be so cruel? Please let us go. I'll never bother you again, please. But's eyes were full of ruthlessness. Just like that, at his signal, Chloe's 8-month-old fetus was directly killed and removed. Duo. Chloe also paid the price. She can't have children anymore. Watching somewhat deranged expression, a wave of annoyance washed over me. Ethan, you don't get to decide right from wrong, and not every mistake can be corrected. Why should Chloe have to endure all this? In the end, you're the one who hurt her. Everything you've done is just for your own self-gratification. You're committing a crime. Don't go any further down this path. I don't love you anymore. Whatever you do now only makes me feel disgusted. Ethan tried to say something else, but Lucas cut him off directly. Stop rambling. I've already called the police. With that, he pulled me directly into the market, disappearing from Ethan's sight. From then on, Ethan never appeared before me again, and another 2 peaceful years passed. With the Lucas family's help, the 5-year project was successfully completed. Lucas and I also successfully returned to the States. To my surprise, as soon as I exited the airport, 2 men in black pulled me into a car. We sped along until we arrived at the house Ethan and I had lived in 5 years ago. Ethan was dressed in a suit and tie, as if he had been waiting for a long time. Duo, you're finally back. Ethan, what exactly do you want by bringing me here? You'd better let me go quickly, or you'll find out what happens when Lucas finds you. To my surprise, he laughed. Don't be afraid. I won't do anything to you. I just wanted to see you one last time before I die. As he spoke, he began to cough uncontrollably, and it took a long while for him to stop. Lung cancer, terminal stage. Untreatable. Duo, lately I keep thinking about when we first met. You had a ponytail, and you stepped on my white shoes, and your face turned all red. You were so cute. Back then, I thought, I want to be with you forever. Watching him gasp for breath, I couldn't help but interrupt. Stop talking. Let the past be the past. Save your strength. Duo, if I hadn't been such a fool back then, do you think we'd have children now? As he spoke, he pulled out a veil from somewhere and placed it on me. Consider it fulfilling a dying wish for me, Duo. You look so beautiful wearing a veil. Watching his intoxicated expression, I ripped off the veil. All right, can I leave now? Cough, cough, cough. Do you truly hate me so much that you won't even lie to me for a moment? Hearing his words, I couldn't help but let out a cold laugh. I don't hate you. To me, you're just a stranger. Ethan, you never really loved me. From beginning to end, you never had a stable heart. You were afraid of responsibility, you only ever loved yourself. With that, I simply sat down. You could indulge in romantic flings with me, but when it came to marriage, you would always evade and postpone. You could accept my mother's kindness, but when it came to attending her funeral as a son-in-law, you were afraid and made excuses not to show up. It was the same with Chloe. Once you needed to take responsibility, you'd cut ties completely. You always just wanted to enjoy other people's kindness, but you were never willing to give back. So why pretend to be deeply affectionate with such grandiloquence? I'm grateful I only wasted 10 years on you. And please, whether you live or die, never contact me again. Looking at this house we once lived in, do you know how I feel? I just feel disgusted. Disgusted by sharing a room with you. I said it all in one breath, my eyebrows raised as I met his wounded gaze directly. He trembled even more violently, eventually collapsing onto the floor, unable to stop himself. To think. I've become the past you never want to mention. I didn't reply, nor did I look at him. The air became instantly silent. A moment later, he slowly spoke, as if having made a decision. All right. I understand. I'll have someone escort you out. Just as I stepped out the front door, Lucas arrived with his people. He was sweating profusely from anxiety. The moment he saw me, his eyes reddened. Did he do anything to you? If he dared to touch my woman, I'll make him pay with his life. With that, he was about to rush inside with his people, but I stopped him. He didn't do anything. He just told me he's dying. Let's go. Don't waste time on irrelevant people. As I said this, I knew Ethan, standing behind the door, heard me. But never seeing each other again in this life would be our best ending. That night, Ethan died in that house. It was said that when he died, he was clutching a ring tightly in his hand. I knew it was our old engagement ring. When the doctor called me to claim his body, I was momentarily taken aback. I couldn't believe that after all these years, his emergency contact hadn't changed. His parents passed away early, and I had no choice but to organize a small funeral for him. At the funeral, Chloe came, crying inconsolably. Looking back now, perhaps Chloe truly loved him. They were just both trapped by their obsessions, unable to see clearly. Ethan gave me his entire inheritance, but I immediately donated it all to an orphanage. It was a way to atone for his early passing. 2 weeks later, Eleanor organized a magnificent and unprecedented wedding for Lucas and me. I walked towards Lucas, bathed in the morning sun. He embraced me, his eyes filled with tears. To have and to hold, from this day forward, till death do us part. The scene that had played out countless times in my dreams was finally fulfilled at that moment. I realized my happiness was never the destination. It was the beginning. Thank you for watching today's story. If you liked this video, please give it a like and share it with your friends. We look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments. Feel free to share your opinions, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting stories. See you next time.